And we're back. I'm the Dadadpanther, and we are going to talk about Marvel's Avengers finally getting a war table. Does that mean we are getting Kate Bishop and we have Clint coming up? Is this all happening before Christmas or Thanksgiving? Kalika-lika-la. Oh yes. Oh yes. Things are happening, okay? Things are happening. Is this gonna be like Biggie's It Was All a Dream? Or is it gonna be like Freddy Krueger's Nightmare on Elm Street? We're going to find out in hours, okay? Give or take where you're at on the map. As Crystal Dynamics brings us the much anticipated war table. Now, if you've been hiding under a rock, you know that since this game's launch, it has done so many things. It's been a top pre-order game, top selling game, top buzz game. The hype is there. And then fumbles. And I'm not going to go through the stumble and fumbles of what's gone on to become this game, a game that I am hyped for still, a game that I really want to rise to the occasion and be the hero that we're looking for when we're acting as if we are heroes. But it's out there. This hasn't been the best launch. Now, is this an Anthem launch? No. Is it a Fallout, what was that one? I can't remember that. You know what I'm talking about, that Fallout game. No, because they're handling it faster versus some games where it just seems like it's a year or two before you really get anything new. It's almost like they forget about it. Like, you guys want to see a dead body? So we're actually going to get a chance to see what this company is going to do for it moving forward. Now, the whole thing, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. This is why you probably click the link, for my opinion. You got your own opinions, put it in the comments. 3 likes, right? But I'm thinking in my head, how do I want this war table to go? Because see, in this situation, they're Anakin, right? They're Anakin and we're Obi-Wan, okay? Believe it or not, you're Obi-Wan, we're Obi-Wan together. We have the high ground, okay? And what I mean by that is, if the game came out and it just had a few bugs and a few stumbles, nothing major like what you're hearing with the, the player base and streamers and all this other stuff, right? Other videos I have in the past talking about it. But if that wasn't there, then we would just listen to this war table and then we'll take the information they're giving us and we're like, okay, that's cool. And we'll go about our day. We'll log in. We'll start playing a little bit more and we'll go through this process that most games do as content trickles into the live service game. And if you look at a game like Division, you might not be happy necessarily with certain things that they're doing with PvP or content that comes out or multiplayer or the cost of this, whatever the case is. But for the most part, there are things to do. There's a trickle, there's a system, there's some balancing and tweaks that have to be done. Not everyone's going to be happy. And we don't know necessarily that company's direction, but it's a conversation that it almost seems like every time the Division comes up with something, or even a company like Destiny, they have the high ground. So why I say that is, if this war table is lackluster, they may lose some people forever. And I know that sounds dramatic. Now, when I say forever, you might just have some people who are just done with the game. They won't play it anymore. They'll give it to a friend or family member. They completely uninstall it. But you'll even have some people who might, hey, I'm just going to play for that one favorite character I have. And if it's just not feeling that good, then I'm just going to move on. What this game needs a majority of their people to come back and play this game because the feedback is needed to make it better. Like I said before, I'm waiting for a 2.0 relaunch, a Loot 2.0, significant quality of life, multiplayer increase. All that stuff to me is more important than the new characters and the new missions. That's just my opinion. So when we watch this war table and they go ahead and show us what they have for Kate, okay? And Kate's boss, the rumor is the super adaptive, right? So it's the adaptoid that's been dropping us until it got nerfed a little bit, but that adaptoid is going to have a little bit of everyone's powers. And then maybe there's going to be a teaser about Clint, because we all assume he'll be the next one. And the person that Clint is going against is, the name is escaping me, Maelstro? You know what I'm talking about. That's supposedly kind of how that works. And then you got Cloning Lab that'll probably come out before all that. And then you're looking at multiple abominations, based off of how fast you do that raid-like puzzle, right? And that's coming from my boy Miller. Shout out to Miller. But with all that being done, if there is no roadmap, and it doesn't have to be an exact roadmap. I've said this many times in other videos. It doesn't have to be an exact roadmap. It could literally just be similar to when Marvel does their panel at the Comic-Con. They don't tell you when everything's coming out, television, movies, or whatever. They just show you the logo of that character, and they show you the timetable on what the executives were looking for. That's really how I look at it. So you'll see WandaVision, and you'll see third quarter. And you'll see Black Panther 2. And then you'll see second quarter. And you'll see Ant-Man 47. And that'll be first quarter. And you've got 2 to 3 months, give or take, 4 actually, for the quarters to switch over. So you can move that around based off of what's going on in the studio. But it has to be a roadmap for accountability. I'm not saying the dev team needs to come out and say sorry or anything like that. I believe they're going through something. I've posted a video before about the COVID, the fires, the internet, the displacement and the rhythm being thrown off. Other game companies that came out probably had their games in the bag and then were inconvenienced, obviously, and had to rival from it. But one of the most crucial times for a game that comes out, especially live service, is when you put out and you're trying to get that day one patch and little patches here and there and continue the community and the hype. And they did not have that, especially being a place that's stationed. Majority of the people from Crystal Dynamics are in California. So you've got the fires, you got COVID, you got majority of places locked down. Like Disneyland's been closed since March. Those are real issues that I think we forget about. But with this war table, if we're not getting the quality of life to the map and easy access to certain things that we're doing in the marketplace and the clarity on the cost of these items, if we're not getting the conversation of loot, I don't understand what the war table's for. And like I said in other videos, I'm like, they're going to fumble this. And I could be wrong tomorrow and eat, crow's pie or whatever the saying is, like humble pie. I'm fine with that. Okay, I'm fine with egg on my face because it's good for the community. It's very annoying that the devs take the blame for this, and the devs have bosses, and the only one we've seen is Scott, who came out for a pretty easy Q&A. All right, we're not hearing anything from Square Enix. We're attacking the devs as if they're the ones doing it, and it's a whole team of people. And like I said, the devs aren't they're only doing what they're told. They're only giving the information they can give. But it's going to be so disappointing to look at this war table that everybody looked at the calendar and said, hey, look, it's got to happen in November, right? It's got to. Because you've already said Kate's coming out before New Year's. You already said that. That's already been said. We already know somewhat of the order of what characters are coming out, right? We know about She-Hulk. We know that Warhammer looks like he's pushed back indefinitely until we figure something out. We know Black Panther's coming out. But then the conversation is, well, when Chadwick passed away, rest in peace, when he passed away, that changed everything for them. I don't think it did. I get they were going to show us something, right, on that stream. But how much of that information was a part of that stream that they couldn't show us anything else with Kate? That they couldn't shelve some stuff and say, let's focus on loot. Remember, they just said, just 2 days ago, I did a video on it. And they're working. They've got small little teams that are working on quality of life, new missions, and loot. Redesigning the loot system. That's not going to get finished yet. Now, when they when they put out the Kate information, that's going to help big time because that's going to allow them to move like, ants. Like you would pay your credit cards if you never use this strategy. Pay one credit card, throw everything you got at it, it's gone. Now you can take the money and the resources to the next credit card, like a snowball effect. But I just don't think this next war table is going to give it what it needs, and it's unfortunate. Like I said, I will come right back here and say, wow, my mind was blown, this is a plan, everything. But if I do not see a roadmap and they tell me the obvious that Kate is coming out before New Year's, there's only 2 dates that they would drop Kate. They would either drop her right before Thanksgiving, or maybe you drop the clone, the lab, you'll drop that first, then you drop her the week after, and then you drop Clint in January, and then T'Challa gets dropped in February, and then every month you keep putting out a new character And then you get maybe Spider-Man and you finish it off with Captain Marvel that finishes out what they consider their seasons, and then the storyline changes from AIM to someone else. Who knows? But again, you could have been anywhere in the world and you're here, and I appreciate that. So we'll all sit around the war table, and I really hope we get what we want as a community. We get them. Obviously, they're listening and they're trying as the devs. Till next time, Kalika out.